Evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Chinlock, DigitalDailyPicks.com's weekly episodic wrestling podcast here on Spreaker.com. I myself am Smitty, one half of the two-man power trip, along with Tim.
He says it with such excitement. And yes, this is the Chinlock, the only show that Dixie Carter looks to for Impact ideas.
Yes, you are the Impact booking team.
Yeah, and I do it for free.
You do it for free. You do it for fun. You do it for the good of the people, whatever good that may be. Except
still waiting on. Still waiting on that paycheck, Dixie.
Yeah, except it has now almost ensured your doom. Yes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh well, no. You and your Schwami partner decided that you wanted to make the bold prediction that Garrett Bischoff was going to join Aces and Eights, and latest reports say that that's probably going to happen. And if I remember correctly, I did make the statement that if that does indeed happen, before Jeff Hardy loses the belt, that Impact is off of this show.
Until he loses the belt.
Yes, I did. Well, see, I haven't made that amendment yet on air, but I did agree with you. I did give a little bit of flexibility that when that happens, TNA is off of this show. But once Jeff Hardy loses the belt, enabling Helmick to return to watching Impact, then I'll allow Impact back on the Chinlock. If you guys will still want to do it, which I'm guessing you will, because alternatives to that are either Ring of Honor or WWE Main Event or something else. So,
well, Helmick's missing TNA, you know?
Yeah, he is kind of missing watching it. So
as well as his voice.
Yes, he is missing his voice. That is why Helmick is not here. Helmick is battling laryngitis, cannot speak. He may be listening. Who knows? But Howard should be joining us shortly, actually. He just messaged me to let me know that he should be getting on. So he will be added to the show once he does arrive. Until then, it is me and you, sir. A lot like yesterday when we did our little Marvel podcast.
Yeah, but Brett joined us at the end. Maybe not with a mic, but he still joined us.
Yes, he was still there. So,
all right. Well, then we got to get into some noobs here, I guess.
Oh, all right.
I refuse to have excitement considering we're not getting paid for it.
Fair enough.
All right. I just pulled up an article that said Kenta Kobashi just retired, apparently.
Well, damn.
Or at least he announced his retirement. So
in other words, either he's done or he's going to have a retirement tour.
We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, some of them that announced, some of the bigger names in Japanese wrestling that have retired over the past few years, they would do like a little bit of like a little tour, like they would do like a few U.S. shows, do maybe one or two more big matches in Japan, and then that would be the end of it. So maybe that'll happen with Kenta as well.
Yeah. Let's see, a couple TNA signings that include Eric Young having re-signed, so the knockout tag titles are safe.
Thank God.
And one of your favorites, Velvet Sky, has re-signed with TNA.
Yes, I do enjoy Velvet Sky. Maybe not for wrestling skills, but for everything else. And
he just enjoys hearing Taz letting loose the pigeons.
No, that is not what I miss at all about it. No,
he misses it dearly.
I do not miss the pigeons. I will say, I was a bit surprised, seeing as how there was a brief moment where both beautiful people were out there to grab. I'm a bit surprised WWE didn't think to maybe grab them. You could get them both as a group, especially since now their focus for next year is to completely revamp the Divas division.
Well, now they can. Now that Johnny Ace isn't, talent relations and ordering supermodels to be wrestlers.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that happen. How they fold that in. There we go. Let's add good old Howard. Let's see. Oh, there he is. Up. Hello.
And he's dead.
Yeah, I think that was the noise. That was the sound of him dying.
Yeah. So that
humoring you with a response.
What?
Not humoring you with a response.
Well,
okay.
How about a response to the fact that TNA has re-signed both Eric Young and Velvet Sky? All right.
How about a response to Kenta Kobashi announcing his retirement?
Well, I thought that would at least get
I am sad.
Okay. So I figured that would at least
he
get a
is
response
old.
from you.
Yes. All right. We have a lot of TNA news to cover this week, folks.
Christ.
According to sources, Jeff Hardy may resign with the company after his contract expires in March, but there's a feeling that Hardy could obviously make more money in the WWE, and his body's and obviously through his career, his body's pretty banged up at this point. And he's if he stays in TNA, he's at least guaranteed a main event spot, but not so much if he returns to the E.
I don't know. I think the E would give him maybe not a main event spot right away, but he'd be upper mid card at least. I mean, he left as a champion, or had just lost the belt right before leaving, and despite any sort of hard feelings, I think WWE would know that he's still a huge merchandise seller. So he'd be a good opponent for a heel champion. I mean, he'd be a good opponent if Punk was still champ, or Punk was still a main eventer by around then. That would be a good feud to reignite. I mean, you bring him back and he fights Punk right away. So
yeah.
Totally agree.
Though I think the E would be a little hesitant to push him back to the main event at all. So that's kind of the problem. Every time he gets a push, he leaves.
Yeah. Well, at the same time, every time they were trying to push him, give him a push, they were also like hammering him down with dates and appearances and everything. So maybe
that's what happens when you're popular. You either deal with it or you leave.
Yeah. So
everybody else does it.
It will be interesting to see. I guess they thought that if they gave him the belt, he would sign. I mean, I don't know, but at this point, I'm not sure if a main event spot or a title is what Jeff Hardy wants to stay with a company. I think flexibility would probably be more important to him than anything. Like if WWE was like, hey, we'll give you more money and we'll give you less dates, I think he's gone.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty common sense.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be like, oh, but TNA goes, oh, but we are offering you, not as much money, but easier schedule, but you're going to be in the main event. I don't think that's a make or break point for him. He's been in the main event enough. He's made enough main event money, or he's been in the spotlight enough. I don't know if necessarily he wants to, if that's a big point for him. So. What the hell?
Fixing my chair.
I was gonna say, I think now Tim's dying.
Nah.
Oh, he's dead.
Well, think of me as you used to.
Nah. Remember me.
I didn't before, so.
Remember me.
All right. Tyler Rex claims Juan Cena threatened him for using the Burning Hammer move because John Cena doesn't watch the product at all.
I don't know. I mean, I don't see why Taylor Rex would suddenly make that up. I don't think he has a need to. I can see John Cena while he's the hard worker and the big name for the company. I can also see him being very protective of his image and his moves and everything like that. And even though the Burning Hammer, I guess it's kind of like an attitude adjustment, but I believe it's like instead of the guy being picked up like a fireman's carry, he's picked up more like a torture rack.
Yes.
Okay.
And pretty much he's dropped right on his head like a reverse DVD.
Yeah. So I guess I can understand it in a sense that, but that doesn't make it right, and I don't think it's necessary for him to have gone to someone like Tyler Rex and go, don't do that, because I'll get you fired. I mean, I think isn't this like the second wrestler that's come out and said John Cena's pulled shit like this?
I don't know. Is it?
Kenny Dykstra's come out.
Yeah, but no one likes Kenny Dykstra. Kenny
Dykstra. The reason a lot of his stuff hasn't picked up steam is because he's been a real dick about it. He seems like he's been out there like trying to trying to, or he's been out there thinking that his words carry more weight than they actually do. Like he's exposing some big secret against John Cena that's going to turn his fans against him, and it's like, no one cares.
Hasn't worked, buddy.
No, it hasn't. I mean, I know, and like with the most recent stuff with Tyler Rex, Kenny Dykstra like retweeted some of it and said, "Oh, how about that? How about that for your leader of your C Nation or whatever?" Like kind of like, "Oh, listen to that reality check." When I guarantee you, the bulk of John Cena's fans still to this day have not read that and don't know who Tyler Rex is or Kenny Dykstra. It's really only food for the marks that already hate John Cena.
I personally just couldn't care one way or the other. It was just...
Yeah, I agree. I don't care that... I mean, it sucks for Tyler Rex, I guess, but I mean... And I don't have anything against Tyler Rex.
He's busy being dead.
Mm-hmm. I respect the man that gets out of the business so he can be a parent. So...
All right. There are rumblings from the WWE's main office where there's potential for a physical Hall of Fame in Orlando. The deal with the pending deal or the sketchy stuff right now is that Orlando would want to host 2 WrestleManias every 10 years as part of the deal. It said that Triple H is handling a lot of the negotiations, however, but nothing is expected to happen on the ground at a potential Hall of Fame location until 2013 or maybe 2014.
Wasn't it also talked about that the spot in Orlando would be Universal Studios?
The article I found didn't mention anything about that, but yes, I did hear about that.
Yeah, because I think NBC owns that theme park. That'd be interesting.
I think it should be right next to the Impact Zone.
It really should be.
And then it draws more people in every day than Impact, or every time that they have a show.
Yeah. I know the goal of their...
The Hall of Fame will get higher ratings. The Hall of Fame drew a 1.7. TNA drew a 1.3. But it's not televised.
It's not televised. It doesn't have, like... An actual audience. I don't know. That's hilarious. I know that their motivation for this actual Hall of Fame is that they want it to be a place that holds a lot of significance to the history of the WWE. Obviously, we'll have places for the Hall of Famers, to display their stuff. But they want it to be a place that you would spend a large amount of time in, as well as go back and want to revisit. Like that's the goal of it, like a baseball or an NFL Hall of Fame, where there's so much in there that you're gonna spend a lot of time just going through everything. Like they want it to be an experience, and I like that motivation. Like a few times a year, WWE gets ideas, and they get things they want to do that is interesting and you want to get behind. It's just whether they ever get to that point or not. That's the hindrance. So hopefully when it hits Orlando, it is that type of experience. Because if it is, I would want to go see it. And I feel at this point, we almost, as a show, would have to, given how much shit we've given WWE for not having a physical Hall of Fame. But I'm not driving. Neither is Howard.
No, never.
Neither
again.
am I.
We'll fly.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Tim can walk.
Tim can walk. Tim can hitch rides.
Well, what we'll do is we'll fly the plane low enough to where he can see us, and slow enough to where he can keep up. We'll fly right next to him as he's walking all the way down.
Well,
I'll just use my grappling hook.
I was gonna say we'll tie a rope to the end of the plane and give him roller skates, and then just tell him to hold on.
Yes, and then that's when we'll take off.
Hold on,
his
Tim.
skates useless.
Hold on, Tim. You only got to hold on for 2 hours.
That's kind of how I feel.
But finally, in final bit of news, CM Punk had knee surgery this past weekend, so he got taken out of the main event spot for TLC, where it's going to be him and Ryback in a TLC match for the title. But the corresponding reports afterwards said that CM Punk may have been healthy enough to compete at TLC, but WWE, I think, is making the wise decision by having him, sit out and be completely healthy for a match against The Rock at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I think that's safe. The only problem is, I like what they replaced it with, but I think you're going to lose some buys. Not that you were going to get many for TLC anyway.
Yeah, it may hurt the pay-per-view just not having a WWE title match on there.
But I think it's a nice change of pace.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. It's not just a random.
It's although it is thrown together,
yeah.
it does make sense.
It's not Vince McMahon coming out saying, "Hey, let's add John Cena." It's like, well, why? We have a one-on-one match. Fuck it. John Cena.
He's pulling double duty.
I said Cena. But
and Cena
and Kenny. But yeah. At least what their choices were, it makes sense. Shield has attacked 3 guys, though. It seems like the suspicion was that if Punk and Ryback was still a match on the card, Shield was going to face Team Hell No and Randy Orton. That's what a lot of people.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people have been thinking was the original plan since they attacked Orton. But this still makes sense because obviously they've out of anyone they've attacked Ryback the most, and past that it is Team Hell No. So putting those 3 together against the Shield makes it interesting. And I know a lot of people have issues with pinfall and submission being the outcome for the match, having those stipulations added and nothing for them to climb up the ladder and grab. I do feel it gives WWE a few more options to be creative so that way the end can happen in this match without having Shield just take a pinfall and lose all their momentum. And everything there. Because that's the only thing that worries me in that match is I feel Shield has been building up a good bit of heat based on what they're doing. They're getting reactions, and I would like to see that maintain and not just instantly deflate by getting destroyed by Kane, Ryback, and Daniel Bryan.
Maybe it's just me, but I think that match would be better suited as just a tables match. It'd be like a table elimination match where all three members of each team have to be eliminated.
I agree. I mean, I think a tables match would have been fine, but then I propose the question again, where do you put the TLC match? Like, who gets the TLC match then?
Cena and Ziggler?
So you make them the main event?
Why would the TLC match have to be the main event?
I would say on a pay-per-view called TLC, I mean, most years they have had the TLC match close the show. And that's what they do with most of their gimmick matches. And seeing as there would be only one, more than likely they would make that the main event spot. I mean, who knows? Cena and Ziggler could still be the main event spot because I have a hard time believing they will keep the main event spot that TLC match.
Yeah.
Because I believe this is the only year that the Money in the Bank match was the main event spot for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. So that was going to be my counter argument.
Yeah, no, I mean, in most years, in all years, that has not been the main event. But I mean, that's because they can't put the WWE title on the line in a Money in the Bank match. In every other gimmick pay-per-view, those gimmicks are used as the main event match. Like it's like the WWE title is put in a Hell in a Cell, it's put in a TLC, it's put in whatever the hell else. Oh, Elimination Chamber. That's a gimmick pay-per-view. I really wish that would not be anymore. I'm already tired of it. I think I'm also just getting tired of gimmick pay-per-views as a whole.
I agree.
I mean, minus Money in the Bank. But even then, I think Money in the Bank should go back to Mania. I like having just the one briefcase owner and having it eligible for either main event title. That way I can stop seeing the constant idiotic posts of, oh, well, then if Cena beats Ziggler at the pay-per-view, he can cash in on The Rock at the Rumble. No, he can't. It's not for that title. I've seen that pop up so many times on message boards, it has driven me insane.
In the membrane?
Insane in the brain. Yeah. So, either way, the card for TLC is interesting. It does have a few matches that are intriguing or could be exciting to watch. It's also got some that kind of feel like filler matches, but that's what happens when you're at the end of the year, and TLC just kind of feels like a filler pay-per-view on the way to the Rumble.
Yeah, I agree.
So, did you say that was your last bit of news?
That was my last bit of news.
Okay, well, with this being a pay-per-view special and all, and the main focus deservingly goes to the company whose pay-per-view is tonight, we will slim down any talk of WWE shows into kind of one lump segment instead of doing Raw and SmackDown as their own respective sections. So, this week in WWE television, what transpired on either show that you would like to bring up now or is worthy of conversation or talk?
The Miz's big face pop.
Miz did get an impressive face pop, and I was glad to see him back on the show because, with this whole face turn, I've been been very intrigued to see how they develop it and how it takes hold with the crowd.
And apparently very well.
Yeah.
But what really helped is that entire promo he had. Not the lie detector segment itself, but the promo that would become the lie detector at the end of the show. That whole promo really helped The Miz, I think, the most as this face turn continues.
Yeah. Howard, you don't want to inject in this? Or interject?
I'm thinking.
Okay. Well, when you are ready, just feel free to hop in. I think this just continues to build towards my statement of a few weeks ago that it felt like the WWE fan base has been waiting for a reason to cheer The Miz. Because all the way back when he was added to that Raw active poll and he had that moment with Ziggler where he was starting to play face but not really, the crowd was instantly behind it. Like they've been sitting there going, yes, now I can cheer The Miz. It's like something that people have just been waiting to do. So they were just instantly accepting of his face turn. I mean, because that very match at the end when he was added with Team Hell No, the crowd popped for him. They were ready to chant awesome with him, and they were ready to chant really on Monday. So I have a feeling this will shape up to be a successful face turn for him. I think the real question now is once it's established, where does it go? How high do you want to take him as a face?
Well, right now he can't go very high because of what's happening in between now and WrestleMania. So whatever happens after, whatever's going to happen for The Miz is going to happen after Mania.
Yeah, I think what they're going to do is they're just going to build him slowly, and I think he'll be a good opponent for someone after Mania. I think you'll see him in a lot of tag matches and a lot of maybe some small feuds. And I don't think anything is going to pay off for this face turn until after Mania. I don't think.
Does this?
But I'm not against that because I've always been a fan of The Miz, and I'm glad that I've been wanting his face turn forever, and I think it's the best thing for him. And I'm okay with waiting and seeing how it pays off for him. I think it will, but I definitely agree with Tim. I don't think it's going to happen until after Mania because you got The Rock and Ryback and Cena and Punk. He'll be overshadowed so easily, and plus he'll be blamed for everything too. So keep him on the DL for a while.
Does this result in a run with either top belt as a face for The Miz in 2013?
Yes.
Maybe.
I think it will.
We haven't gotten to that point yet to say yes yet, I don't think. So right now it's a maybe. For me, at least.
I think if the reactions stay as strong as they are now and only get bigger, it will be hard for them to not put a major title on him by the end of next year.
That's about the only reason why I'm saying maybe. It's got to keep building first.
I understand that. I think the way it's going now, if they continue to book it correctly, if they continue to put him against, whether it's on the mic or in the ring, against guys like a Punk, where they can go back and forth on the mic. I mean, I don't give Miz the credibility to be as strong on the mic as a CM Punk.
No, and I think that was very clear on Monday.
Yeah. But
because the Miz was all right, but like for the first part of that for that whole exchange, then once they got to the lie detector test thing, Punk just blew him out of the water.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I mean, the Miz is very creative on the mic. He can cut strong promos and he can make.
Oh no, he definitely can.
Yeah, he can make zingers. It's just, it still feels like there is tension between those two on a personal level. Where it almost feels like Punk isn't interested in keeping Miz on the same level as himself. Even though he didn't bury the Miz by any means, and he did sell up some of the reactions to having to be on a lie detector and the insults that Miz threw at Heyman. He helped put those over by saying like, "Hey, no, that's not nice." No, when he was doing all that stuff.
Yeah, I think I could tell it really easily when Miz said that his mom sucked.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I was like, ooh, it's getting to him a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I think that those two at some point were starting to take personal jabs, and I feel it's a mentality from a guy like Punk, who's busted his ass in wrestling all his life, and he sees Miz as a reality TV star who kind of got handed things. And Miz just sees Punk as another dick wrestler who won't give him any respect, even though he feels he's paid his dues. Whether they ever see eye to eye, they have enough respect to not damage the integrity of the show by making it personal 100%. But you can tell that they take certain jabs at each other because they don't like each other. So, even though when you look at it down the road on a CM Punk DVD, Miz is on there giving CM Punk all his props and everything. If they ever put together a Miz highlight DVD, I guarantee you will never see Punk on it.
Nah, probably not.
We'll see. We haven't gotten there yet.
No, I think we're quite a bit away from a Miz DVD. So, other than the Marine 3.
Vince McMahon continues to bury Vicky Guerrero on live TV.
He continues to do that, and at the same time, he continues to make me wonder, why was he on the show? Like, his segments with Vicky become so awkward that I'm just like, it's kind of funny, but
at the same time, you're just showing how incompetent she is.
Yeah, it's like, it just feels like, it once again, it just feels and puts more emphasis on the fact that she is a placeholder power figure until they get the person they really want to be GM or whatever. So they're going to belittle her and keep her from being a strong power character so that it will be extremely easy to fire her down the road.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Vicky there anyway, but I can definitely see why it's stupid to do that, especially because he put her in that position, like on TV.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes, I don't know. It's stupid. But it's better than AJ and John Cena, which it seems like they put that on halt, which is great.
For the time being. It'll come back, don't worry.
John Cena.
But that's okay.
John Cena should take more pictures with Nikki Bella.
Yeah.
So
that's why we got that impromptu match between AJ and Tamina. It's like, really?
Yeah, something that should have been a pay-per-view. Technically. I'm glad it's not, but
Damien Sandow's search for an apprentice, I hope, goes on for months.
I hope this is something that they have a plan for.
Yeah, I hope that this brings up someone from developmental.
Yeah, bring up a young guy, or just
like Cassius. Oh no, that would be awesome, wouldn't it?
That would be great. I think,
or it could even be one of IRS's kids.
I think
Sakamoto.
Huh?
Or Yoshitatsu.
The Yoshitatsu.
Oh, I want Yoshitatsu now.
We'll see. It can go a magnitude of ways. You can bring in a young guy like Cassius Ono, who really can be a young apprentice to Damian Sandow, and build as a tag team. You could have it be someone comedic just to produce funny backstage segments like a Yoshitatsu. Or it could be something where they're just filling time until they know when Cody Rhodes is coming back. At the very least, I'm just glad that Damian Sandow didn't get put on the back burner while they wait for this. While they wait for Cody.
Gotta give him something to do.
They did, and I'm very grateful for that because I honestly expected them to have nothing for him as a singles competitor. So instead, they rebooted his push and have now added a new element of bringing in an apprentice. And even if they don't right away, even if they don't at all, at the very least, this is a good way for him to get heat with the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, and you have to keep him relevant. I mean, this is another one of, I guess, Triple H's projects, and he's gotten over. So if you just kind of put him on the back burner until Cody comes back, that's certainly going to hurt him. And Damian Sandow is a strong singles wrestler anyway.
Yeah,
he doesn't have to be part of a tag team like some other wrestlers seem to have to be, like Evan Bourne, and even to a point almost Kofi Kingston, though not so much anymore.
Yeah,
but I mean, I like it. It's something different, and it's doesn't involve John Cena or Ryback, so I'm okay with it.
I guess we can also discuss the strongest man alive in Antonio Cesaro.
You mean that freak of nature from Switzerland?
Yes.
He is ridiculous, and I really hope that he starts getting over with the crowd more. Because for a while, he was getting no reaction, like bad or good.
Yeah. What I respect, though, is a lot of times you'll get a young wrestler that they throw on TV like that doesn't initially get over, and then they just squash them and make them disappear. But it seems like they have such
Brodus Clay.
Yeah, like Brodus Clay. But with Cesaro, it just feels like they say, God damn it, we have something good with this guy. We're going to make this work. And they're putting him out there, and he's having ridiculous matches. He's picking up fucking people like Brodus Clay and throwing them around. He's
making it look easy.
Yes, he's displaying great amounts of strength, and he's putting on stellar matches, and I have a feeling that based on that alone, that's what's going to get him over.
Yeah, no, I think eventually he will just get the crowd over like that.
It's going to be something where it's like, man, this guy is too good. We can't.
He just needs to do his freaking airplane spin.
Nah. Give it time.
I swear to God, that's all he needs to do.
Put him in the ring with the right opponent. I think it'll happen. So you put him in the ring with opponents he's familiar with, like a Daniel Bryan or something like that. I think it happens. So
that match is going to happen anytime soon.
Cesaro's got a huge future again, for him, and I'm glad
he does
because Claudio, Antonio, whatever you want to call him. His first go at trying to come into the WWE failed at the development level.
Well, he never got to show up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It failed at the development level, and this time, now that Triple H is kind of running that whole thing in FCW or NXT, it has provided him an opportunity to get on TV and now be a guy that has so much upside to the matches that can be produced with him. I mean, him and Kofi, him and Daniel Bryan, him and Punk down the road, him and Ziggler can be good. him and Sandow could be good. Him and Cody Rhodes could be good. You know, there's so many guys on that roster that he would have a stellar match with, and I think they realize that too.
I think we all agree that our ideal match right now is him and Jack Swagger.
Yeah, for the whole. I mean, if you really want to get this guy over and get someone the crowd can get behind to be all USA gung ho about, it is Jack Swagger, and I think the two of those can have a stellar series of matches. Honestly, I think those are kind of guys. I mean, and I don't think Swagger is someone that you bring in and have him immediately beat Cesaro.
No.
I think he's the person that should ultimately beat Cesaro for the belt. But I think that they can be a feud that lasts a while and becomes an epic U.S. title feud to the same levels as like Booker T and Chris Benoit, where they were so heated for that belt, they had a best of 7 series. And I know.
Well,
Huh?
that was the TV title.
Was that TV title? Okay.
It was the TV title. It's okay.
Either way,
But still,
that would
that series was awesome.
that series was fucking amazing. That series had me tuning into every show that announced a best of 7 match on it. I had to see every match. I had to, because it was phenomenal. So stuff like that, I would love to see stuff like that. I would love to see a best of 7 series for a belt. I would love to see an Iron Man match between two capable guys, not a John Cena, Randy Orton Iron Man match that ends in like 6-5. I want
Best match ever.
Yeah, I want an Iron Man match between two guys that have the stamina for it, like a Daniel Bryan and a CM Punk, that can end in like a 2-1 or maybe a 1-1 draw with an overtime, something like that. I mean, I don't think you should ever mimic the Shawn Michaels Bret Hart finish of having 0-0 tie, but I also think no Iron Man match in the future should ever be 4-3, 6-5, whatever.
I agree.
Anything else from Raw or SmackDown you guys want to bring up?
Brad Maddox? Question mark.
Fuck him.
Does anyone care?
Do you?
Not really.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, I don't.
I think what's interesting is that he has like his YouTube show, and I think what they're doing is they're displacing like this like Zack Ryder's thing onto him, kind of. I don't know if you've watched any of his YouTube. I watched one of his like little YouTube show things, and it's just, I don't know. They're trying to build him up as like a YouTube sensation that they made. I don't really give a shit though, so I guess never mind.
I don't like him. I don't think. I mean, I know his only 2 matches on TV have been squash matches, but I'm not impressed by anything that he does. I get tired of his promos. I think I can't stand watching him walk around with a damn cameraman. I think it's stupid. And I'm really not interested in seeing a running gimmick where he pops up on a show every now and then and goes, "Hey, give me a contract, come on." They go, "Okay." And then he faces like the Big Show or a returning Mark Henry or Sheamus or...
Now wait a minute. We'd be happy to see a returning Mark Henry.
Yeah, oh no, I would be happy to see Mark Henry come back. You know, I would. You know what? All right, fine. If they're gonna induct Brad Maddox into the Hall of Pain, I'm okay with that one. After that, just stop.
After that. No. But they did swerve us because we thought he was going to be facing the Great Khali.
Yeah, and thank God for that, though, because at least a match against Orton is watchable. A match against Great Khali would have been like chop to the forehead, clothesline, choke slam thingy, claw, whatever. And then Hornswoggle.
I'm not a huge fan of, and this goes past the last few weeks, Daniel Bryan's been losing like every match. I don't know how I feel about that. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. So that's why
Though they do have an awesome shirt that I saw at Hot Topic the other day that I texted you a picture of.
Yes.
And it's just like a crudely drawn Kane and Daniel Bryan, and it says "Hug It Out" on top.
That is a good shirt. Awesome. I mean, their momentum seems to have deflated a bit. Like the focus on them is not as large. I think it is because of the tag division losing Sandow and Cody Rhodes. I think the writing team did not have a backup plan for that. Even though the primetime players are now being pushed into that spot.
Yeah, but they got squashed on Raw.
They did, and I don't think, like I said, because there's no backup plan, I think that's kind of taken a little bit of focus off of Team Hell No, even though now they are technically in the main event. So it will be interesting. Given the history of what Howard has brought up, I would not be surprised if Daniel Bryan is the one that takes the pin on Sunday.
Yep.
Now you've ruined my day. I hope you're happy about it.
See,
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean that's not going to bother me because I don't. In that match, looking at everything, I don't think you should have Shield lose. I don't think any of them should be pinned by anybody. I don't think they should pin Ryback, especially if Ryback is going to be getting a WWE title match before the Rumble. I could see them pinning Kane, but I don't see the WWE wanting them to pin Kane. I see them just picking the easy out in Daniel Bryan. So.
Womp womp.
Yeah, because now with Punk out of the match, you can easily have Punk come out and just fuck with and distract Ryback.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe they'll swerve us and they'll pull a unique and intriguing end. I don't know. Yeah, I know.
What's that?
That would be common sense and good booking, and that doesn't happen in WWE. It's a very foreign concept. Anything else for Raw or SmackDown?
I liked Raw overall.
Yeah, overall I did think Raw was pretty good. I didn't see too much of SmackDown because we elected to watch the Spike Video Game Awards.
It wasn't a total train wreck.
No, it was actually a decent show, surprisingly enough. Because I've seen previous years, and previous years of that show were pretty fucking awful.
Yep.
So, good for them in that.
And I hate the fact that Hornswoggle's back on TV on a semi-regular basis.
Well, I guess his is the next movie they got to push.
No.
Leprechaun.
Yeah, the Leprechaun reboot. I can't wait to see how awful he looks for that.
So I guess I'm buying that one.
I don't know. We haven't bought the past couple of DVDs, so I don't think you have to worry about that.
Oh, thank God.
Because I doubt any of us are buying the Marine 3.
Well, that would still be my turn anyway.
Yeah. That'll be out before Leprechaun. So is that it? Is that it for Raw and SmackDown?
I believe that's all I believe that's all I care about.
All right, so we got 8 minutes before the pay-per-view comes on. So how about, do you already have the card, Tim?
I do have the card.
So you want to go through that card then?
Yeah,
Before the pay-per-view goes live?
yeah, I can go through the card. Maybe not before it goes live, but give a brief synopsis on why this match is happening.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Such great matches like Bob Van Tam versus Kenneth King, which was a match made on Thursday's episode of Impact, where they had a triple threat match between Kenny King, Kid Cash, and Zima On, which was fantastic, by the way. So that's why there's that match happening at the pay-per-view. Tara and Mickie James. It's a match that came out of a Knockouts Battle Royal a couple weeks ago, and Mickie James got to address the crowd this week, but there really hasn't been any, basis of a feud between Tara and Mickie James outside of, Mickie James is the number one contender for the title. Then there's the tag team title match between Team Tex-Mex and the Big Morgan and the Big Organ, and that's Joey Ryan and Matt Morgan, by the way. Where pretty much Joey Ryan wants to be tag team champions, and he's taking Matt Morgan along with him. So that's why that match is happening. Of course, Matt Morgan has completely knocked Chavo Guerrero's head off with the carbon footprint multiple times. But, I'm worried mostly for Hernandez because I'm afraid he's going to get another concussion. And then Matt Morgan will be the face when Hernandez returns. And Helmick would back me up on that one if he was here.
I'm familiar with that.
Okay. AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels. It's being labeled as one final match, or like it's supposed to be the last time they're supposed to wrestle each other or something like that. Who gives a shit? Just stop. Stop it.
As long as it ends.
It's enough. I don't want to see it anymore. There's a 8-man tag match which is going to feature Kerrang, Wes Briscoe, Samoa Joe, and according to Kurt Angle, Jarrett Bischoff. Of course, he fucked that up and it's Garrett Bischoff. So Jarrett Bischoff against 4 members of Aces and Eights, and this feud was brought about because Aces and Eights had been targeting Kerrang for several weeks and whatnot. And this past episode of Impact, there was a TV title match between Joe and Devon, where Doc ran in and knocked Joe out with the hammer, and Devon picked up the TV title, so Devon's TV champ again. So that's why Samoa Joe's partnering with them, and obviously Wes and Garrett are, Kerrang's, I guess you can say, proteges. The one thing I'll say about this right now is Kerrang's character. He's more like the de facto locker room leader. From what I've been watching of Impact the past few weeks. So that's why this is happening. Of course, Sting, got attacked over a month ago by Ace and Eight, so he's not going to be on TV anytime soon. Then there's the feud born out of fucking the boss's daughter. That's Bully Ray versus Austin Aries, because Bully Ray wants to fight Austin, but basically it's the real feud is between Bully Ray, Brooke Hogan, and Hulk Hogan. But, Brooke hasn't turned full heel yet, but she's definitely dressing more appropriately for it.
Hey, Dad, I'm not wearing any panties, Dad.
Yep, getting there. Skirt's up, that's for sure. So that's why that match is happening, but I expect Bully Ray to win the match, but I don't think he's going to. And then the match born out of someone's stupidity, and by that someone I mean James Storm, deciding to have a match against Bobby Roode the night after he won a number 1 contendership match. So Bobby Roode and Jeff Meth Hardy for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, because fuck you. Except I want to see Bobby Roode win. And apparently he has an insurance policy, because on this past week's episode of Impact, Bobby Roode had paid off aces and eights to attack Meth Hardy. So whether those help Bobby Roode again at the pay-per-view is yet to be seen. So we'll see what happens there.
And James Storm has no match?
James Storm has no match.
All right.
Who knows? Maybe they'll have an impromptu match. But TNA is usually pretty good about having a set card, usually.
Yeah.
But that's the card, pretty much. That's Final Resolution for you.
Resolutions will be finalized tonight.
Yeah, but if Helmut was here, he'd wish it was Genesis.
He will. He would. All right, give us the first match you want us to lay predictions down on.
Let's go with Bob Van Tam versus Kenny King.
As much as I want to pick Kenny King,
Not going to happen.
Bob Van Dam.
Rob Van Dam, easily.
Rob Van Dam. Tara versus Mickey James for the Knockouts title.
I'm going with Mickey James.
Mickey James.
Tara.
Well, all right.
Mex Tex versus Organ and Morgan.
I'm going with Mex Tex.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, which one? Yeah, okay. I'm going with the Colts.
I actually don't know who to pick in this match, I'll be honest with you. I'm torn between picking the Mexicans or the other two.
Mexicans have been getting their ass beat. I just go by general wrestling logic.
Yeah, that seems like the general wrestling logic. And I don't think they're going to put a title on Morgan and Oregon yet. So I'll definitely go with the Mexicans. Final battle. AJ Styles versus Christopher Daniels.
The fans. Christopher Daniels.
Yeah, that's fine.
Jesus.
God, be more excited, why don't you?
Yeah, I will be.
Okay. I'll take Air Styles. Team Kerrang versus Aces and Eights.
Aces and Eights.
Aces and Eights.
See, I was more excited that time.
And I feel there could either be a turn or a reveal during that match.
We'll see.
We shall see.
Bully Ray versus Austin Aries.
Ooh.
Or as Brooke calls him on occasion, Mark.
Is he smart?
No, because that's his real name.
This is a tough one.
Isn't it? But I'm picking Bully Ray.
That sounds good.
I'll take Austin Aries.
Yay, we're all different. Do we really want to pick... Does anyone want to pick Bobby Roode?
I will.
Oh man, I want the Selfish Generation to win.
Don't we?
Huh?
Don't we?
But I don't see it happening.
Not tonight, brother.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy.
Fuck you, Meth Hardy. You're gonna win. And I hope you choke. And I hope you choke on your meth. So that's it for the pay-per-view. I mean, there's really nothing much else to talk about here.
All right.
I mean, I summed it up in 18 words or less. All right, maybe not so many, but still.
Still, yeah. Let's see something here. Let's see. What are we looking at with polls? Because we're not going to do new polls, obviously, but...
Until next year, apparently.
Yeah, damn right. Let's see.
Which means I have to cobble together the current polls and figure out who's at the top.
Yes, you do. Gotta find, where the hell is it? Where's all this? Man, they've changed all this stuff around. Now I can't.
Stop messing with my site.
And they changed the dashboard around, so it's trying to figure out where the hell they put the polls at. But I don't know where they hit it. All right, let me just go to our page and see. See if these polls have got enough votes for it to even fucking matter. Oh, they have gotten more votes. Look at that. That's adorable. All right. Let me just get all these results up, and then we can do this. We can do this. Oh, fucking ties. All right. Is that two? Yep, I see 2 ties. Oh well, it happens. All right, last week our nominees for best match were Dolph Ziggler versus John Cena, Kofi Kingston and Team Hell No versus the Primetime Players and Wade Barrett, Rob Van Dam versus Austin Aries, and Daniel Bryan versus Rey Mysterio. And the winner of last week's poll, Kofi Kingston and Team Hell No versus the Primetime Players and Wade Barrett.
Hooray!
Yeah.
Worst match of the week, our nominees were Matt
The
Morgan.
Great Khali and the Great Khali.
Matt Morgan versus Doug Williams. The Great Khali versus David Otunga. The Great Khali versus Alberto Del Rio. And Alicia Fox versus Tamina. Winner of this week's poll, The Great Khali versus David Otunga. In second place, The Great Khali versus Alberto Del Rio. So you can say this week's winner is The Great Khali.
The Great Khali.
Best segment of the week. Our
Great
nominees are The Shield promo, Daniels and Kazarian Gangnam Style, Daniel Bryan and Kane Red States versus Blue States, and Damian Sandow searches for an apprentice. In a dominating win this week, it is The Shield promo. WTF moment of the week. Our nominees are only one segment for Aces and Eights, AJ and John Cena's horrible makeout session, The Passion of the Tensai, and Hornswoggle. And we have a tie for WTF moment of the week, and that goes to Hornswoggle and AJ and John Cena's horrible makeout session.
How do I use my tongue? Where does it go?
What
In the eye?
What is tongue for? I will put your mouth in an STF. Best wrestler of the week. Our nominees.
That's how John Cena kisses.
What?
That's how John Cena kisses.
Best wrestler of the week. Our nominees are Antonio Cesaro, Sheamus, Austin Aries, and Daniel Bryan. And the winners, because this is our other tie, Antonio Cesaro and Sheamus. Finally, our last poll, worst wrestler of the week. Nominees are David Otunga, The Great Khali, AJ Styles, and Alicia Fox. All right, who wants to guess?
Alicia Fox.
Alicia Fox.
Great Khali.
Oh, I'm surprised.
Great Khali beat the hell out of Alicia Fox.
Literally, and in the poll.
It's because he's got big hands.
He does. And as
Hey,
huh?
just a quick note. Remember when you just asked whether or not James Storm had a match on the pay-per-view?
Yeah.
He's got a match on the pay-per-view now.
Oh, what did they?
Impromptu.
And who's it against?
Kazarian.
I figured it was gonna be Kazarian. Jesus, Crimson. Crimson has been on TV in months.
Well, it would have been appropriate if it was Crimson,
It actually
because after
would have
all,
been.
James Storm was off TV and then came on pay-per-view to beat the shit out of Crimson,
That is true.
who has yet to be seen since that pay-per-view.
Touche. All right, as Tim made the statement earlier, these are the last polls of 2012, because next week's Chinlock is our last show of 2012. We will then be taking a nice 2-week vacation as we prepare our best of show to kick off 2013. So, our first show back after the end of the world will be our best of 2012 show. We'll discuss overall poll winners, what we thought was our best matches of the year, and so on and so forth. I'll go back and see what awards we had and put together nominees for that. So yeah, you got one more show. Next week is our TLC show, and that is it for the Chinlock for 2012.
Woo!
Yeah. So, 2 more shows also for the Digital Reload tomorrow night and the following Monday. Those are our last 2 shows. Then we will use our 2 weeks off to finish up any other preparations for the Best of show, and our first show back for Digital Reload will also be the Best of 2012 award show. And leading up to those shows, I will try to have polls up on the website so that we can find out what our readers think are the best matches of the year, the best pay-per-views, the best games, the best developers, so on and so forth for each respective show, as we did last year with our best of. So yeah, as far as what other content you can enjoy from us, yesterday Tim and I recorded the Crisis Cast Marvel Now Wave 1 podcast discussing 10 number ones that hit store shelves in November. You can listen to that at your convenience. It is on digitaldailyfix.com as well as Spreaker.com. The latest episode of Figure Follies is up. Episode 3 is on YouTube. And episode 4 will, as long as I remember, be posted this week. I want to try to get the remaining episodes up before the end of the year, so we can possibly start recording what we want to have on there for this coming year.
Yes.
Anything else anybody wants to promote?
Nope.
As much as everyone else is taking a break, I won't be taking a break because I'll still be doing Crisis on Infinite Comics every week. I know I say every Wednesday, but that's not true because that's when the books come out. The real posts don't go up till Thursday. Sometimes in the wee hours of the morning, sometimes at midday. Who knows? Maybe not at all.
Yeah.
Keep you guessing.
Well, you got to. You got to keep them guessing.
Johnny Bench call.
Look at you wanting to be the only guy that keeps working through the end of the year.
That's my dedication.
Hey, you saying we're not dedicated?
Not at all.
Oh, we're not at all dedicated? Oh.
Yeah. Go ahead. Turn it on me. Why don't you?
I
You
will.
react bastard.
Oh, hey, I went past 200 points in my fantasy matchup.
Oh, look at you.
Oh, dear God. I didn't see the final score of that Seattle-Arizona game. Oh, my God.
Oh, you mean the fact that Seattle completely murdered them?
58-0. Good God. That is ungodly and unrelated to anything we have done on this podcast today. So, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and enjoy Final Resolution if you are a TNA fan like Tim. Watch the pay-per-view. Enjoy. Hope you enjoyed our shows for this year. Please join us on our last show next week, and we will see you again then. And after that, we'll see you in 2013. Everybody, make your peace, and we will get on out of here. And jump.
Bye.
Making my peace.